Hi, I'm Dan Hernandez. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Sport Fishing, but today it's part 2 of our multi-day adventure aboard the Islander. We're at Cedros Island today. We'll be looking for Yellowtail, and you never know what else to expect. So stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing. Welcome to Sport Fishing with Dan Hernandez.
This is the 5 down here at the south end of Cedros, and it's a pretty traditional spot.
It's a big high spot there with all that kelp behind us.
It's an area where you get a lot of kelp. It comes up to 5 fathoms in some parts. You get the kelp up above the water. And it's just one of those traditional spots. You get the right conditions like we got right now, and it bites pretty good. We got most of the boat going here.
Yeah. Everyone's using different techniques. I'm fly lining a live bait. I know Joe behind me here was fishing a dropper loop.
Yeah.
The kids are hooked on back there. He's got a jig on.
I just got 2 on the surface. I'm in the plastic.
See the rod I'm using? It's the Ugly Stick Tiger rod. It really handles this fish well. You watch that rod tip, you can see the yellowtail on there. See the way his head shakes it? There we go. The reel, it's a Fluger reel. Works really great for this type of fishing. So I got the fish straight up and down now. I had to go all the way around the boat with it. Now my goal is just to work it right here. See all the chaos going on back there. Everybody's all tangled and stuff going on, trying to work all their fish. As long as I got control of my fish, make it nice and easy for the crew to gaff it. Try to stay out of those lines. But I don't have a lot of control over what this fish does. Color! Now at this point I'm just going to short stroke it. Take a little crank. Here comes Jason. Now when you got the fish at this point, you just want to lay it out flat for the crew. There you go, nice gaff, man. Just lay it out flat. Jason gets a nice gaff in it. This is a yellowtail. You see the Cajun red line in it. The hook in there is an eagle claw hook. Just a nice quality fish. All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, good one.
All right, let's see what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I gotta get back up on the tank set for yourself.
Yeah, another fish here on the fly line. Just picking away here at Cedros. A lot of fun fishing the yellowtail. Having a great bite out here today. A lot of guys getting the fish, a variety of fish. This is why you come out on multi-day trips. Get to fish a different island, different situations, different variety of baits. And that's what we're doing today. Some guys are getting the fish on the dropper loops. A lot of guys are getting fish on the jigs, fishing yo-yo straight up and down. Even the surface. There you go.
I got color here.
And we're getting fish also on fly line. So my fish is straight up and down. All I want to do now is just short pump it. I want to keep the fish up here on the bow. Short pumping just means you just take a short crank. You can get one turn on the handle, that's all you take. Get two, that's great. Just want to lift the rod up. These fish don't have necks, so you just want to raise their head up. There you go, deep color there. Nice yellowtail. Let's have them circle the boat here. Where's that one? There we go. All right, nice stick. Thanks a lot, John.
You're very welcome. Nice fish.
Quality yellowtail. This is our Captain John, owner-operator of the Islander. They run all kinds of trips during the season. And you guys run out of Fisherman's Landing.
Yep, Fisherman's Landing.
We'll be running their phone number at the end of the show. Just typical, the kind of fish you can catch out here on the multi-day trips. Let's take a little break from the action. We'll visit the tackle box, show you the rods and reels and the gear we're using for this type of fishing. This week in Tackle Box, I want to talk to you a little bit about offshore fishing. When you're fishing offshore like this, especially on a multi-day trip like we're doing on the Islander in this week's episode, you want to be fishing heavy line. You never know when you hit these kelp patties if it's going to be big yellowtail or tuna, but you got to be prepared and you got to be ready. You're fishing that deep water, thousands of feet deep where these kelp patties are, and you're far offshore. Most of these fish haven't been hit by boats yet, so they're not really line shy. So don't be afraid to move up and fish the heavier lines. For this week's trip, what we're fishing a lot is 40 and 50 pound test line. We're fishing the red line, the Cajun red, and the reel I'm using today is the Fluger with the lever drag. Works awesome for fishing these heavy lines. It's got nice line capacity, big enough drags, and a nice drag system that you can really pull on the fish. And when you're using a large reel like this and heavy line, you got to match it up with a good quality rod and a heavy rod. I got the Ugly Stick Tiger rod. I wouldn't be afraid to use the Ugly Stick custom rod too. It works awesome. You just got to make sure you get a rod that's rated to fish 40 and 50 pound test line. Now there's lots of ways to fish these cow patties. You can fish them with live baits, artificials. But I tell you, one of my favorite ways is to drop a metal jig right below the cow patties. Sometimes drop them pretty deep, down 50 to 100 feet. You need a nice heavy jig to do that. This is a magic metal. It's got a welded ring in front, and it's designed to fall down underneath the cow patties. Sometimes you get bit on the drop, but also to dart it up as fast as you can. As fast as you can turn that reel, you want that jig to dart up. This is one time we can't crank fast enough. And as that jig darts up, the fish just gets a glimpse of it, they come up and charge it. It's deadly for the yellowtail, and the tuna love it too. It works great. Now, another technique that we use when we're fishing offshore like this, fishing the cow patties, is we fish with live bait. And we may be using mackerel, small mackerel for bait, or large sardines. And what you want to do is pick up one of the hook kits. And in here we have different sizes of hooks, but you need to use something like this. A 5 or 6/0 size circle hook will work great. Or if you want more of a traditional J-style hook, something like a 7, maybe sometimes even 8/0, but 7 should be great. And you want to use a hook like this, and you want to pin it on with a small mackerel, a big sardine, and drop that down. Now this works awesome. If you're not sure what hooks you really need, don't be afraid to pick up one of these kits. It's the Dan Hernandez Eagle Claw Hook Kit. You can find them on our website. You can find them at your local tackle store. And it's got all the different hooks you'll need for this type of offshore fishing. Now with the hook kit, you'll get a little DVD with it. It shows you lots of the knots that you need to tie for offshore fishing. Show you the rigs that we use to fish this style of fishing offshore. Well, let's get back on the water, join everybody aboard the Islander, and show you more exciting action here on Sport Fishing.
Yellowtail. Grab it. That's it, baby. Come on, Papa. Come to Daddy. Come to Daddy. Beautiful. Another beautiful yellowtail from Cedros Island. That's it, baby. Great. Great fishing. Love it. Can't see it. Come on, it lifts. Don't lift him out of the water.
Been a lot of fish here. It's been a lot of fun because it's not like totally wide open where it's really chaotic, but we got 5, 6 fish going at a time. So everybody's getting a chance to pull on some. We got a couple of yellows already, a couple of bonita. Trying to get some more of the yellows. There's some nice yellows around. This fish is going back in the corner. That's what you want the rod to do. Be the big shock absorber. Wind down, lift up. You gotta really pull on these fish hard. There's a lot of kelp in this area. See a big reef right behind us, a lot of kelp all over it. So I just want to do is wind every time I can when I drop the rod. Use the rod to get the line, just stroke it. It's just another technique for catching yellowtail. You can catch them dropper loops, you can catch them on the jigs. Right now we're just fly line fishing. Okay. turn his head. And really keep tension on and keep his head coming up.
You want to watch because he's going to start circling here.
Here he comes.
Keep an eye on him.
He's coming straight up here. Just gonna land here. All right, man. Nice guy. It's Carl, one of the skippers. Nice guy on that fish. This is another technique to catch yellowtail. We've been showing you this whole trip. You can catch him on dropper loops. You can catch him on jigs. Just fly line bait. Just using that perfection loop knot. Got an eagle claw pin hook in there. Cajun red line. It's real simple fishing. The same you'd see me use at the islands for white sea bass or big calicos. Also works on these yellows. Works good too. Use it for tuna fishing too offshore. Thanks a lot.
Killed that thing.
Yeah, he ate it good. All right, well, let's take a little break from the action. We're going to show you how delicious yellowtail tastes. Let's go visit the galley and show you how to cook up a yellowtail. Standing next to me is Paul. He's the chef aboard the Islander, and he's going to be cooking up a dish for us. And what does he have for us today, Paul?
Well, I got some yellowtail here that I've cut up and marinated in some teriyaki sauce that I made up. It's basically soy sauce, brown sugar. There's garlic and shallots, a little bit of wasabi powder just for flavor, and some sesame oil in there. And I've had that marinated for probably about an hour or so. I'll throw it on the grill and
Cook it up.
cook it up. And I'll lay the top side down first, or what I would consider the top side. And I'll let that
Is that enough light?
I'm going to be cooking this for probably about 3 to 4 minutes aside, because yellowtail is to cook really, really slow. Also depending on the thickness of the piece that you have. You know, you just have to base it on touching it, feeling it. Maybe you have to sometimes grab it with the tongs, bend it over the tongs just a little bit, crack it open slightly, just to see what it looks like in the center.
Is yellowtail a good fish to work with for marinating and stuff?
Yeah, yellowtail is a great fish for marinating because it'll taste like anything you marinate it in.
Okay, like a rockfish type of,
right?
A water fish.
Whatever you cook it in, whatever you marinate it in, that's what it's going to taste like.
One of the biggest things I see people do wrong with fish is they overcook it, make it too dry.
For cooking, you want to pull your fish off a little bit before it's done, because fish tends to cook residual heat still after you take it off the grill. First flip, you see the teriyaki, because of all the sugar that's in it, it leaves a really nice shiny glaze on there. It really cooks up well. As you're cooking it, you want to check and watch the whiteness move down, or actually from the bottom, you watch the whiteness move up. And you know, once it turns all white, then you're good to go. It should be done. But like this is a smaller piece. What I was saying earlier is you just kind of bend it over your tongs a little bit. Trying not to destroy the fish, but this piece is actually done.
Cool.
Smaller piece. This one might take a little bit longer because it's thicker, obviously.
Let's take a taste of that. So,
All right, so this piece we have here is finished, cooked all the way through.
Cool. So this is local yellowtail that we caught today, and your special marinade. And we have some of the dipping sauces that I have. I'm gonna dip it. Which one do you suggest? Tropical, wasabi?
For this marinade, either the wasabi or the tropical. I think would be really good.
Let me try the tropical. That's good. That's really good. It's a great job. Thanks a lot for helping us out.
Thank you.
Remember, it's Paul for the Islanders, a great chef. He really does a great job with all his dishes. If you want to sample one of his dishes, book it on the Islander. Come out and try it. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action here on Sport Fishing.
It's Justin. He's 15 years old. Fishing yellowtail on a 5-day here on the Islander. Fishing 30 pound with a 7-foot rod. Caught 5th or 6th one of the day. Knows how to pull on a fish, that's for sure. All right. Justin with a good 20-pound yellowtail at Cedros Island. 30-pound test, 3/0 hook, live sardine. Did it all by himself, casted it out and everything. Good job, give me 5.
All right. For this week's tip of the week, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we did today yellowtail fishing here at Cedros Island. Now, we were able to catch yellowtail both fishing the yo-yo, straight up and down metal jig fishing, and on the surface with the Lite jig. And the big difference is the metal jig is like this, a low profile, real thin profile type of jig, cuts through the water really nice, and it just up as fast as you can work it straight up. And then the surface jig, much wider, light jig that just kicks side to side on the surface. The magic metals are what we use for the yo-yo fishing, and the poly jigs for the fishing on the surface, also made by Magic Metals. They're great jigs to use. That's this week's tip of the week. Make sure you have both surface jigs and yo-yo jigs when you're fishing for yellowtail, especially down here in Baja. Well, I'm Dan Hernandez, hoping you enjoyed this week's episode of Sport Fishing, and I hope you join us again next week as we go looking for more of the best in sport fishing.